Welcome back. We're going over the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Let me tell you, this is kind of crazy, right? We have the biggest day potentially of the next 30, 40 days coming up tomorrow, and the Nasdaq breaks out prior to this. And I think this is very telling. The fact that there was no help from sellers is incredibly telling as we jump into this. But it's very important that we understand where we're at in the overall market. The S&P 500 broke into all-time highs, really just kind of ended right at all-time highs, breaking back above previous last Friday's highs there. The Dow is still trying to recover and get back there. It's still the lagger, if you will, but tech is exploding. Now, again, I want to tell you right now, tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Central on hour before market open, 8:30 Eastern, you have core CPI data that will be very important. We need to see what happens and what comes out here. And then also too, going into the afternoon around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. I believe Central, you have your FOMC meeting, okay? 2 p.m. Eastern, sorry. You have your FOMC meeting and statement. Very big, okay? Going to be very important to see what the Fed says about this inflation data, what's happening with unemployment. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, my personal opinion is they favor what's happening overall in the market and that they're pretty overall bullish. The only kind of coin flip here is what core CPI says, because I'm telling you right now, core CPI will really dictate how they feel and what they kind of say overall there as well. Because if this comes in cooler than expected, I'm telling, which is very possible with what's happened so far with the data we're getting from oil and previous data as well, we could see an explosive move on the market to the upside. And it's kind of crazy because you're already kind of seeing that across the board. Now, when we go into Qs and we go into, SPY, great movement overall. Now, what I will argue, the argument to make here is that what is driving this? If we just quickly bring over our little watch list, I would bring in a heat map. I just don't have one up right now. But again, you're seeing CrowdStrike back in the highs. Let's just quickly go. Microsoft, great run. Don't get me wrong. Dipped. It actually finally broke above 428 today and kept running. Congratulations for Discord. But some of these, Netflix kind of just consolidating here. Micron at highs. Nvidia consolidating. AMD on the downside. Meta is breaking back out, but again, not really going crazy, to justify a 200-300 point move on the market. Amazon kind of not breaking out yet. What's really carrying us? The biggest thing I can point to right now is Apple having a massive day, right? So if we go into these, it's XLK, which is the tech ETF. That's the one that's exploding. And it's important we understand this because this is what's going to be the money-making opportunities. Look at XLF financials getting hammered. This is why the Dow is getting hurt. Look at XLE Energy consolidating. Look at XLI Healthcare consolidating. We can XLC. I think communications, right? It's been pretty good over the past few weeks, but consolidating over the past few days, right? XLY consumer discretionary consolidating, right? None of them are SMH semiconductors consolidating here. Not breaking out on the day. It's heavily tech and what's happening with Apple and Microsoft and Meta. Not a lot of these other names are going yet. So when we go back to Qs, I want this to be really clear. This party could just be getting started if this data comes out like we expect. So you're breaking out, good action happening here. The S&P SPY slowly getting there as well. I'm going into as well what's happening, and this should be further evidence here because volume will uptick tomorrow. I promise you. You came in with some record-breaking low volume at 30. Yeah, 30 point. Actually, sorry, you almost broke your record. June 6th was your record for lowest volume in 18 years. Excluding holidays, you came in at 30.9, so slightly above that. You almost broke the record. So that's a rest. Low volume. But one thing I will say is you don't need crazy volume to get continuation, just for reversals and breakouts, in my opinion. Now, before we go into equities, let's cover this.
Speaking of trading, if you've been using a basic investing app for the past few years, I highly recommend that you step it up and graduate to a better investing platform that can grow with you, which in my opinion is today's sponsor, Moomoo. Like other platforms, Moomoo has a super intuitive user interface, really easy to use, but unlike the other platforms, they have everything that you're using right at your fingertips. Whether it be your analysis tools, up-to-the-minute live data on the markets, what's happening with options data, and it's worth mentioning while other platforms charge a premium for the quality of data that you're getting here at Moomoo, Moomoo does not charge a dime when it comes to getting live data on the charts. So for any of you that are serious about your investment journey, Moomoo's platform is worth checking out. The link is down below. It helps me out, it helps you out. If you have any questions, comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
And one more thing that I'll add in, guys, if you're checking out Moomoo, I just say, hey, look, just look at it, check out the overall service. That's what I'll say. But one thing that I will say is like everything happening on TOS today, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, they're all like going down, it seems like lately. Like I'm just telling you, the biggest thing for me too when it comes to my platform, as well as getting closes and fills and good option orders, is customer service. And I challenge you to give customer support a call at Moomoo and just see the response time, guys. And again, I'm just talking from my experience. They are a partner of the channel. It's a great way for you to support us. But also too, guys, I hate to see you guys struggling like with some of these brokers right now, which is super unfortunate, but it is what it is. TOS was awesome, but like, they're now owned by different companies. So it is what it is. Now, let's go into yields. Very interesting. So today was if you're in Discord today, I meant to post this. I was just outside of the office near the end of the day. But if you're in Discord, go watch the video that I posted in my zone. You had your bond auction, and I'm not huge on bond auctions because typically what happens on bond auctions is you get like a quick little move and it comes back and we kind of consolidate, right? Well, today your bond auction came out, and this is the first time that it's been kind of telling the market might be priced against some good things happening. We look at TLT specifically, shot up, moving back to the 200 SMA there. Really good behavior. The dollar getting rejected a little bit. But I think this dollar move might be a trap here overall. So again, very interesting that the bond market, in my opinion, is telling us that they're expecting some good news from the Fed as well. And I think TLT is what's really kind of the most telling thing here, breaking out of this downtrend that it's been in since essentially going back to December. So again, once TLT breaks out, it's been some of our best overall movement. Remember when you broke out on November, that was the best move that we had and the real breakout back to the upside. So again, things to consider. I do want to see what happens with the dollar tomorrow, coming back below 105. Hopefully, I will attack that and give you some more updates. The one concerning part here is US oil bouncing back pretty aggressively. We loved what we were seeing down there, but you've been just overall bouncing back. So we want to see some downside, hopefully pushing us back down towards 75, 76 and hold that overall area. But I will tell you that this downward oil movement over the past few months has me looking at some good overall movements on inflation towards the downside still, in my personal opinion. Now, let's go quickly over equities, my top picks. There's not too much I need to go into today because tomorrow morning, again, we have our inflation data, and I do believe inflation data will come out solid. It's my expectation. But yeah, also do follow on Twitter if you want to get those updates, guys, so you can see all the charts all day long I'm posting. Today, the big post was obviously what was happening around Apple. I said this very early on in the morning, Apple to 210. This was when you were under $200. So yeah, do what you got to do. Free stuff on Twitter. I try to keep you guys updated as well. Now, equities, really quick. So obviously, the biggest thing right now is you're waiting to see CPI come out. I will tell you this right now. Going into early sessions tomorrow, if CPI comes out solid or terrible, either way, whatever, you're going to be able to trade that essentially into noon. I wouldn't get super aggressive after lunch, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. So the first 3 hours, I think you'll have good trading in either direction. When you get closer to FOMC, I would shut it down and wait for Powell to start talking and get his overall statement. I'll be live here on the channel and most likely on the TikTok as well, so make sure you check it out. But yeah, just want to cover that very quickly. Overall, first 2-3 hours, I think you get good movement. After that, hit the brakes. Now, obviously, you're bullish as long as you stay over the 536.9 level. You hold above that, you look amazing. So we want to see if we can hold above that. And again, it'll just depend on that CPI data. Number one. Now, also going into Qs, which is more important here, is holding above our key level here. Now, obviously, I think you're going to get some clear direction early on in the morning. But let's say CPI comes out at expectations. Just wherever the expectations are, I'm not going to go back to them right now, but you come down and retest. I'd be looking for a retest and hopefully getting a bounce and a strong sign from buyers. Because I think even if we come out of expectations, I think it's overall net bullish based on what's happened with unemployment and the strength of the economy. So understand that as well. So a retest would be the best case scenario. But yeah, now my favorite plays overall. Let's first go into Apple. I told you guys, go rewatch the video if you need to from yesterday. I said, in my opinion, Apple was a buy. They finally did everything they needed to say. So anything that was happening on the dip was a buying opportunity. It broke back above 196.5, and then it was off to the races. Going into Apple, let's just clarify a few things here. Now, obviously, buying up here is dangerous and tough, so I'm not going to tell anyone to buy up here. But I'm telling you right now, my perspective on Apple is they have done almost a hard reset of how you price Apple, in my opinion. This is the first event that I've seen from the company to where they've actually pivoted and they have focused directly on everything they need to focus on to get the company to where it needs to be and where it can be. So in my opinion, Apple has a lot of room to run to the upside. I said 210, and I honestly can't believe that we're already at 207. That's incredible. I think this thing with a good FOMC and good CPI, realistically, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but can run past 220. That's the God's honest truth here. So that's what I'm looking at here when I look at Apple, and I think this thing has a massive room, and I think that these options are still pretty cheap. Even dated. This is January's. So, I'm not a huge fan of the shorter dated ones here anymore. Even like September's, I think are kind of risky, but I'd be going close to at the money and really letting this thing run. That's how I would attack it personally. So do what you got to do. Another big name here, mid cap, a little bit of a surprise, you guys, is Affirm. Okay. So basically Apple announced that what they're doing with the firm is that basically they're doing the buy now, pay later. If you don't know, buy now, pay later, Apple, right? So really quick, right? So they basically added a firm setting into your Apple wallet. This is crazy. This is absurd. They basically said, hey, scoot over PayPal. You suck, right? Even though I really wanted them to get some good news this week, I don't think it's going to happen now. I think Affirm is a money play. I ended up grabbing around 600 shares, around 33 flat. I added 300 during the day, then 300 like basically in the after hours. So I averaged around 33.3. Anyways, after hours are up at like $34, $35. I think this thing could run into 41, then 46. And then honestly, if the market really heats up and rate cuts get priced in, this thing could start exploding to the upside. What I'd be watching mid cap out there, keep your eyes peeled. If you like the options too, they are cheap. But I just didn't want any exposure because I'm just letting you know, like FOMC and stuff, anything can happen. But like Affirm too, you can go like July. Honestly, I'd go a little bit more dated, like September 20th. You want to be like able to price in some of their earnings as well. I think their earnings have a pretty nice uptick. I'd be looking at close to at the money as well here, like 35s, maybe go to 40s, maybe. But that's what I'd be looking at. They're obviously having great movement, but I think this is a money play as well. The options chains aren't super inflated yet. So keep your eyes open there. Super nice. I think Affirm's a money play as well, especially from the mid cap point of view. So I'm trying to give you guys more of those plays as well, because I know you guys are more interested in those as well. So understand that. But going in a little bit further, also too guys, hey, I do a bad habit because I don't like to use these on the videos because I think they kind of keep my chart cluttered. But I just want to show you really quick of the indicators out here. And I do a bad job at shouting out our sponsors, to be honest. But looking at our indicators, our volume indicator for scalping is huge from Lux Algo. But also to the order block ones here, I've seen a lot of question on this the other day, is how do you like really price these in? Well, see, they have this new algorithm. What's happening here is they price in the volume that comes into each order block. And so you can see the percentile of what happens with that volume there. So obviously the higher the percentile, the more important and the more respected it may be. So let's go into something like Apple, just giving you a for instance. So when you start breaking out over, these are smaller ones. We can go to something like let's go to the 1 hour really quick. We'll see, deleted any. But when you start breaking over for instance, right here, a 36 percentile, way higher than these other ones, this is going to be a more respected level of support. And so what happens is you're seeing a lot of buying happening on here, an abnormal amount compared to the other ones, meaning that this was a pretty respected one and that this move back to the upside might be more anticipated and stronger, right? So again, things to look at. Just want to highlight these indicators. I don't talk about them enough, but I use them more in my day trading, not as much in my obviously my recap videos, because I don't really need them to recap what I'm looking at. But the link's down below. Check them out. OD40 is the code for 40% off your first payment. Just to let you know. But anyways, yeah, Affirm, Apple, top names there. Going on a little bit further, Enphase. I feel like I've been screaming this name. I told Discord about this name yesterday and the contracts that I like. I've gone over it a lot though, so I can only say so many things about it. But let's really talk about it here. Enphase, let's go to First Solar first. And this is who you're mimicking here. First Solar is breaking out of its flag on the day. You're pushing into 300. Your all-time high from 2008, I think, is 2008. It's around 317. In my opinion, I think Enphase is the closest to a sympathy play here. So I think Enphase is, again, a money play here. I like it a lot. If tomorrow goes well with CPI and FOMC, I think this thing runs into 152 in a hurry and then into 170. So what I'd be looking at there. Options here as well are not that expensive, and I'm telling you right now, the volatility will kick in quick. You can go further dated. You can really attack this however you want. But I'm telling you now, like it's a nice play. I really genuinely do love the setup here. Again, I like August contracts. Do what you got to do though. July 19th are also nice. So whatever fits your play style, however long you're trying to hold. But yeah, what I'm looking at personally, I do not like shorter dated contracts. So just know that. LRCX, AVGO, two big plays coming out here. So right, LRCX ascending triangle trying to break out. AVGO, we have earnings. You're breaking out right now. I've been talking about this for a few days, but you're getting the breakout as we speak. You have earnings tomorrow, so make sure you're aware of that. ASML, another big name here. Go to the weekly. I put this on Twitter as well. The massive cup and handle playing out here, absolutely absurd. So ASML is probably going to run to like 1,200 realistically if this thing really starts going with good FOMC, CPI, and then obviously AVGO earnings. So again, these are names to keep watching. Everyone keeps saying, Tyler, what do you think about NVIDIA? What do you think about AMD? Well, guys, I'm telling you right now. Sometimes you need to stop focusing on, the same names over and over and kind of broaden your perspective. Now, if you're a long-term investor, like obviously, like do what you got to do, hold your investments, right? But like, again, sometimes there's better plays out there. Do what you got to do. And I just try to give you guys the opportunities, right? So things I'd be looking at there. Names like ZS I've been telling you guys about. Again, I told you about this at around 170 at CrowdStrike's earnings. You're almost at 190 now. You go to CrowdStrike, obviously. This name's exploding. I told you about this one as well after earnings. It was an easy play. You ended up gapping up after. Awesome. In my opinion, CrowdStrike is going to run to 400 though. It's an easy add here as well. It's getting added to the S&P 500, running to 400. Do what you got to do there as well. It's probably one of the safer names too throughout FOMC. I think it'll hold its value just because they're such a good company right now. But yeah, also Pan W. I told you guys above 296. It was an easy add, stock, whatever you wanted to do. You're pushing up like crazy as well. Above 318, exploding probably into 332, then 350. Above 318, 319, it's a buy though. I think you have so much room into 332. So I'd be watching that one as well. Really pretty name, moves very good, very volatile as well. Those are like my favorite value-wise right now. Going in a little bit further though, Microsoft breaking all-time highs. Absolute gem here. This is what you love to see here on Microsoft. You consolidate, you break out. That's how this moves though. If you've gone back in history on Microsoft, it's kind of an annoying thing to trade, but you can see consolidate, you break out. You do the same thing back here, or you kind of consolidated here and you need to breaking out, pushing back up, did it back here. So again, over and over, just does the same thing, but yeah, you're longer consolidation. But again, you break up above 433, you're probably pushing towards 450, 460. Microsoft is in a battle with Apple to hold, I think, the top market cap, I believe. Could be wrong in that. I'm pretty sure Microsoft is the top market cap right now, but that's what I'd be looking at right now. Again, Microsoft is a freaking dog, but I really do think like these are two great names to be watching as well. Coinbase, I want to wait for this to come out. I want to wait, but I believe Coinbase and Bitcoin are like just crazy traps to the downside right now. You're bouncing off your key level, but yeah, this is kind of crazy where you're dipping down to right now before FOMC. I believe if FOMC comes out good and you have good CPI report, I think Bitcoin's going to explode. So Coinbase might be a trap. But again, I always tell you guys, Coinbase is like the riskiest because it's so volatile. So be careful there. Do what you got to do. Would be watching that. Netflix trying to break out as well. I think if it breaks out, it's going to all-time highs past 700. So yeah, those are my favorite names, guys. Long video today. I'm sorry. I try to get, I do what I can, right? I'm excited. Very bullish. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be live for the FOMC meeting. Have a good one, traders.